Hi everyone, I hope you're all really well and have had a great weekend. Thank you so much for joining me today for Pilates. It's lovely to have you with me, and I've got a really lovely, energizing, strengthening class to share with you. Okay, so as usual, please listen to your body. If there's anything that doesn't feel quite right for you, please don't do that exercise and do an adaptation, which I'll try and give you throughout the class. Also, equipment wise, we need our mats, we need a little cushion, and you're going to need your band today. All right, so the good news is that yesterday I had a full day Pilates course, so I need a bit of time to assimilate all the information that I learned into my mind. So hopefully from next week we'll have some really fun new exercises to try. There's quite a lot of squatting, so you have been warned. Okay, you also should have got an email now about plans for Pilates classes throughout the summer. Thank you for those who have got back to me and saying that's absolutely fine. I really appreciate your support, and I've loved having you learn with me online, and I'm looking forward to sharing lots more Pilates with you throughout August. If you didn't receive the email, let me know and I'll forward it to you. Okay, so today we're going to start standing up. So just check that you've got everything that you need. So you've got your mat, you've got a drink. I'll be dividing the class into 2 sections of 30 minutes. So hopefully you could either do it all as one session, or you can divide it and do it throughout the week as 2 little ones, just whatever suits you best. And remember as well, these links are there for you to enjoy all the time. So if you want to repeat a class, even one from a few weeks ago, the link is there and you can access it anytime. Okay, so we are going to start in our standing correctly position. So I'd like you just to walk a little bit. I'm going to take a few ideas from the course yesterday, but not all of them yet. Just like you to walk up and down a little bit, moving your feet. Just warming up your body. And already making ruffles on my mat, which is annoying. And we're going to settle so that we're just standing nice and tall. And I'd like you to glance down to see what your feet are doing. So mine have settled somewhere about a hip distance apart, which is great, but one of my feet is turned out. It's just interesting to do this to see what your natural stance when you're not thinking about it is. And then you can work to try and bring your feet back into alignment. It's just really interesting to know how you naturally stand. We're going to work from our neutral alignment. So I'd like you to bring your feet so that they're in a hip distance apart. This is a new phrase I've learned. So in a hip distance makes it a little bit more easy for you to center your feet directly below the hip joint where the femur inserts into that hip joint. So you're going to stand nice and tall here and just feel how your body settles down into the floor. I'd like you to pick all 10 toes up and lower them down. Hopefully you should be able to do this without altering anything throughout your body. So you should be leaning back or leaning forward. You'll just be nicely balanced. So your toes are there to help fine tune your balance rather than to clutch at the floor to make sure that you stand up. So we're going to try and activate them so they're working properly. So we're going to stand nice and tall here and just feel the weight dropping down through your feet. And then think about that opposition. So you've got a piece of thread pulling it through the crown of your head. So you're lengthening through the top of your body. Maybe feeling a little bit taller now, feeling your core muscles switch on already. Good. And as we breathe in and out, we're going to let our shoulders just relax a little bit down our spine. So breathing out and relaxing down. Super. Okay, so we're just going to do a few floating arms here just to warm up our shoulders before we go into the exercises. So let's breathe in and breathing out, start reaching your hands out to the side. My arms are going to disappear off the top, all the way off the top. And inhale to come back down. And going again, breathing out, reaching through your fingers, trying to get as much space through your joints as possible. And come down, lovely, good. Going again, reaching out. And in. 3 more, moving with your breath. And coming back down, lovely. Feeling those two muscles switch on as your balance changes ever so slightly. Still just being aware of how your weight is going down through both of your feet. And reaching your arms back out. Well done. Okay, so let's just float our arms up again. And then lace our fingers together behind our head. I'd like you to gently press your head back into your hands. Open your elbows so that you can see them in your peripheral vision. And make sure that you're not letting your arms and your hands pull your head forward. You'll stay in that lovely upright position. pushing your head back. We're going to do something called a curl over. So remember when we do curl ups when we're lying on the floor, this is exactly the same, but we're standing up. So we're going to breathe in, breathe out, engage your core muscles, tuck your chin in, and then still pressing your head up into your hands. You're going to start rolling forward, one bone at a time. Remembering to press your head up rather than letting your hands pull your head down. I'm going to pause and then restack again, one bone at a time, all the way up to the top. Lovely. So let's go again. So you should be able to feel that your shoulders are connected to your spine. They're not wobbling around. Let your shoulders drop down, press your head back, and let's go again. Breathing in and breathing out, nodding forward. Rolling forward, maybe your balance is changing. Restacking. Good. It might feel slightly strange to start with, but once you get the knack of moving your spine sequentially and engaging your core so you're not collapsing down, hopefully it should feel really nice. Good. Okay, we're going to go again. 2 more like this. Coming up again. Ask yourself what's going on with your bottom. Are you pressing your hips backwards? Now, if you feel that you are, you can stand against a wall or against a chair so that that option isn't there for you. And you might feel that your weight is going a little bit forward into your foot rather than dropping back into the heel. Last one like this, breathing out to roll forward. And in to come back. Lovely. Let's extend our arms up and down. Good. Give them a little bit of a shake. Okay, so we're going to go into a side twist now. So I'd like you to keep your hips going forward. We're going to bring our arms up and let that top arm rest on the lower arm. Double check your posture and your position. Make sure you've got those lovely natural curves of your spine. Breathing in here. As we breathe out, we're going to start by turning our heads, keeping our hips facing forward as we travel around. Inhale to come back through to center, and let's go the other way. Hip going forward, coming back. We're getting that gorgeous rotation through our spine. Again, just making sure that your shoulders are connected to the back of your rib cage. You're not using your arms independently. They're just traveling with the movement of your spine. Good. You might find that you start small and get bigger. So rotation is super important for our spines. We're going to swap our hands over now. So let the other arm rest on top. And making sure that you're moving really smoothly and steadily. Good. And again. Lovely. Getting nice and smooth and warm now. Rotating around. And our last one. Coming back through to center and bring your arms down. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of rotation in our spines. We're going to put those movements together. So we're going to combine that curl over with a twist. So it's going to turn into an oblique curl over. This is going to be really nice for getting length through both sides of your waist. If you suffer from scoliosis, it's going to be lovely for helping open out your spine, opening out the sides of your rib cage as well, and just getting a little bit more movement through where you need it to be. So let's bring our hands up again, clasp them behind your head. Make sure that you press your head backwards into your hands, shoulders dropping down. Nicely balanced through your feet that are hip distance apart, core muscles engaged. Ask yourself before we start, are you pushing your rib cage forward and extending through your back, or are you nicely balanced? Okay, so what we're going to do is combine a twist with a rollover, curl over even. So what we're going to do is rotate to the side, keeping your hips facing forwards, and then still breathing out, start rolling over. Toe muscles coming in, you should feel a lovely lengthening down the side of one waist. Inhale to restack. Come back through to center. We're going to go nice and slow and really enjoy this movement. Just remember throughout you're pressing your head back. So let's go again, breathing in. And out to rotate, toe muscles coming in to roll all the way over. Inhale and reset. So it's exactly the same as when we're doing an oblique curl up on the floor, but we're just working our muscles differently because of the effective gravity and our starting position. It's going to be really nice for opening out your back. Remember, we're controlling rather than collapsing. Feeling your ribcage open. Inhale, come back. Lovely. Now we're going to just check our posture again, because I can feel I'm letting my hands pull my head forward. You might be able to see that. So I'm just making sure that my head is still pressing back into my hands. So I'll let you all to do that as well. Let's go again. Rotating to the side, rolling forward, toe muscles switching on, rolling over. Restacking, rotate back, round to the side. Elbows are still in your peripheral vision. Pressing your head up into your hands. And again. All the way over. Back, and our final one. Rolling forward. Restacking, coming back through. Raise your arms up and float them down. Well done. Let's walk through our feet now, just to get a bit of movement there. And we are going to go into a really nice kind of walky thing. We're going to go into what our hips are doing. So it's really easy to start like prancing from side to side. But you can see here that my hips are dropping. I'm getting a bit of a wiggle through my spine. So we're going to try and do that. We're going to try and keep our spine and torso and pelvis completely still. So let's place your hands on your hips now. This is going to be really nice for your foot mobility. So we start again with our feet hip distance apart. Gaze going forward, lifting up really strong and tall. And then just breathing normal. You're going to try and peel one foot off the floor. And then keeping your pelvis still, try and swap over. So we're going to go really slow. You should feel that you're rolling through your foot. Now, I know that some of you have had operations on your feet, which might make this quite tricky. So I'd like you to do the best that you can. And you might find, just because we're going slow and with control, that you've got more movement there than you thought you had. Whoa, nearly went off center. So we're working on our balance coordination, really centering as well. So what's happening inside your torso is that you're really working here. And your feet are helping because we're going nice and slow. So in this course yesterday, we learned all about the foot, and also that when you have issues with your foot, it's going to travel all the way through your ankles, your knees and your hips. So sometimes if you have pain in your hips or in your knees, it's actually caused by a biomechanical problem with your foot. So working on our foot strength and mobility is super important. We're going to be doing a bit more of that in the coming weeks. Whoa, I nearly fell over again. So this actually requires quite a lot of concentration. You're trying to keep your hips as level as possible. Keep your gaze going forward. Just remember to breathe. It doesn't matter about the specific pattern right now. Good. 2 more to each side. You might be getting better, or like me, you might be getting worse at your balance. Good. Last one on each side. All the way up. And bring that foot down. Well done. Give your toes a wiggle. Check your position and your posture. And then we're going to go into a nice one-legged balance. So again, we're working on the fine-tuning of our balance coordination. Also, our deep core stabilizing muscles. And this time we're going to go really slowly. So I'm going to show you from the side. So you find that lovely standing position once again. Make sure that your feet aren't gripping the floor. They should be nicely balanced. We're going to keep our hips level as you breathe out, and just try to bring one leg up if you can and lower down. So you can see that my torso isn't moving. My shoulders are down and keeping my gaze going forward. So working on that fine-tuned balance now. Keep your bottom sticking out. Try not to let it tuck under. And try and peel your feet off when you come up. And lower down. So that supporting foot should be resting gently on the floor. You're not squishing your feet in to really grip hard. Keep your jaw relaxed, your fingers relaxed as well. And then we're going to take it up a notch. So you might feel, oh, that's really easy. So we're going to now take it up a notch. So we're going to try to bring that leg up and then clasp it under one hand. And we're going to pause here for 3 breaths. This is really going to help us fine-tune that balance. So let your leg rest into your hands and come down. Try not to fall over like I've just done. And we're going to go on the other side. So you might as well find that one leg is a lot easier than the other. So we're going to bring that leg up, rest that leg in your clasped hands, and then just imagine that that knee and that thigh bone is dropping back into your pelvis. So rather than trying to yank it up and tucking that bottom under, you're letting that knee drop down. Coming down. Good. Let's go on the other side. So even if you can just stay like this for a couple of breaths, that's great. If you can stay for longer, fantastic as well. We're just letting that thigh drop down to avoid any rotation through our spine. Fixing your gaze on something in the distance that isn't moving is a really good move to do here. Lovely. Okay, so now you've got a little bit more balance. Walk through your feet once again, and we're going to go into a standing single leg stretch. It is possible, but remember what we do on our backs. We're lying in double knee fold, straightening one leg away as we draw the opposite leg in, and then swapping over. We're going to do exactly the same standing. So we're going to breathe in to prepare. And as you breathe out, bring one knee in and use your hands to try and draw it a little bit closer towards you. Keep your balance. Inhale to lower down. Exhale to draw this other knee in. Really great for your balance, super for your core. Connecting your breath with your movement as well. So there's a lot going on here. I'd like to think about your rib cage staying centered over your pelvis. So you're minimizing movement in your torso. Keep your elbows wide. And you might find that as you go on, you can draw that knee in ever so slightly closer to your body. Don't be afraid to use your hands to bring that knee in. Really focus on that balance. You've got 2 more to each side. Draw that knee in. Think about how your hips and your pelvis react. Nice stretch for your hip flexor as well. Lovely. And one more. Still keeping that core connection here. And lower that leg back down. Well done. Okay, so now we are going to go into a lovely side reach. Once again, we're going to get a bit more movement through our bodies today. So we're going to take our feet back to that hip distance apart, and then we're going to take them slightly further away. It's like you're in the center of a triangle. Your toes can be slightly pointed out if you want to, if it's comfortable on your hips. Engage through your core, let your arms hang nice and long. We're going to breathe in here. And as we breathe out, we're going to float one arm all the way up and then really reach over, getting that gorgeous stretch through your side. Inhale to restack and cartwheel your arms all the way over, up and over. Having our legs slightly further apart means we can get a further side reach. Remember, you're not collapsing into the side of your body though. You're lengthening through both sides of your waist. Breathing out to come up and over. Inhale to restack. Again, really nice for opening out your rib cage. Keep those toe muscles coming in as you reach up and over. And then just for interest, you can bring your feet back to that side, that neutral alignment that we usually work from, and see how this feels different. You might not feel much of a difference at all. You might feel a lot. Breathing out, float the arm all the way up, reaching up and over. But for me, having that wider stance means that I just get a little bit more movement. So let's do a few more of those. Remember, your toes can point outwards. Let your shoulders drop down. Try and imagine that your body is in the center of this triangle, breathing in. Breathing out, reaching for Nova. Taking the other arm almost across the center line of your body, so it's quite a fluid motion. Keeping the movements flowing and smooth. Still having that piece of thread lifting up through the crown of your head. Good. We're going to do one last one on each side. Ask yourself again what your toes are doing. Are you clutching at the floor? Up and over. Restack here. Take the arm down and then zigzag your feet back through to our neutral standing position and just walk through your feet. Well done. Okay, we're going to go into a chest expansion now. So I'd like you to grab your bands. I'm going to hold the band in our hands. Remember, you can use a pair of tights, bungee rope, whatever you've got. So hold the band with your palms facing backwards and your feet in a hip distance apart. So Thomas coming in here. We're going to breathe out to float our arms all the way up. Still breathing out, raise up into our tiptoes and press that band back against our legs. Inhale to sink back down. Breathing out, float all the way up. Press the band back, feel your biceps, triceps, back of shoulders, switch on. Lower down with control. Breathing out all the way up. Inhale to come down. Super. We're going to go 3 more times. I'm going to show you from the side. So our arms are out in front, breathing in here. Breathing out, float up. Keep your ankles really strong. Bring those bands back. Lower back down. Going again. Tummy muscles switching on as you send that band back. Coming down. Lovely. And down, lovely. And one last one here. All the way up. Press that band back. Lower back down. Great. So we're going to keep that band in your hands now. Hopefully that you felt that something's happened through your arms. We're going to take our hands slightly wider apart. So we're going to turn this into something called a pole raise now. So double check your positioning before you start. Try and get that lovely alignment. Shoulders melting down, breathing in. Breathing out. This time I'm going to float that band all the way up. And then as you inhale, pull that band apart. Try not to catch your hair in the band. And then we're going to bring our arms all the way back up, forward and down. So we're breathing out. I'm going to change the breathing for you now. So we're going to bring our hands all the way up, still breathing. Pull that band apart. Keep your arms and your wrists really strong. If you want to, you can go further down. It just depends on your shoulder mobility. All the way back up, arms, shoulder distance apart, floating down. So you've got that lovely resistance of the band to help us, but also getting something called shoulder circumduction. Especially if you take your arms all the way down like this, you're getting full shoulder circumduction. Now, the only reason I can do that this week is because I had a sports massage acupuncture on Thursday, and now I can move again, which is fantastic. But if you have problems with your shoulders, just work to your own mobility and flexibility. Good. Okay, so now we're going to double check what's going on through your posture. So it's super easy to, as you take your arms up, send your hips forward. We're going to keep that core connection so that you're staying nice and tall here, breathing in, breathing out, arms travel up. You can see that the relationship between my pelvis and my hips hasn't changed. Even when I pull that band apart, keeping my body completely still. Super for your strength. Remember as well, it's all about that shoulder mobility. So work to your own level. Pull that band apart. If, like me, you have a ponytail, you'll know this actually can be quite tricky. Good, and we've got 2 more. Reaching that band apart. All the way back up. Forward and down, and our last one. Good. All the way up. Arms coming down. Lovely. Popping the band down now, giving your wrists a little bit of a rock, and we're going to get our hips working now with something called a hinge. So it's a little bit like a Pilates squat, it's a little bit deeper. So find that lovely neutral position. This time we're going to send our bottom backwards. So I'd like you to think about, rather than just kind of squatting down, think about sending your knees forward, your bottom backwards, so you've got opposition and length going on in your body. And it's going to be great for the strength of your thighs, your lower spine as well as your legs and your feet. So gaze going forward. As you exhale, send your knees forward, bottom backwards, and lean your body forward. Okay, so you can have your hands on your hips so you can feel the crease of your hips. Pressing back through and up. So it's different from a Pilates squat. So a Pilates squat, we're trying to get even flexion between our ankles, our knees, and our hips, which means that your toe muscles coming in, you're going into downhill skier position. With that hinge, we're trying to hinge forward more at the hips. So you need a lot more core strength and come up. Okay, so it's a slight difference, but one that makes a lot of difference in the way it feels. So remember, Pilates squat, we're getting even flexion, toe muscles coming on, weight over the arches of your feet, coming up. This hinge, we're still bending our knees and our ankles, but we're really trying to hinge forward from the hips until your body is almost parallel with the mat. Think about keeping the back of your neck really long. I find that having my hands here just helps me push my hips backwards and body forward. So go as far down as you can. You really need to maintain that core control, because otherwise you risk just going straight into your lumbar spine and putting all of the pressure there, where we need to engage that internal corset to help support the spine. So let's go again. Bottom going backwards, hinging forwards, long back of neck. Pressing back through to come up. And again, hinging. Watch what's going on with your knees. Try not to grip through your toes. Coming up, lovely. Okay, we're going to do one last one before we add in some arm movements. So we're going to come down, knees really strong. And this time we're going to add in some swimming arms. So we're going to practice our arms first. It's exactly like backstroke arms. We have our arms up. As we breathe out, we split our arms. Inhale and split again and again. Okay, so we're going to do that in that hinge. So finding your lovely alignment once again, sending your hips back, floating your arms forward. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And then we're going to maintain this position. Try, if you can, to get your spine almost parallel with the floor. Breathing out to swap your hands. Inhale. Exhale to reach. Really reaching through your hands so they're not just flopping around like octopus tentacles. One more. And press back through. Hopefully feeling something going on through your thighs and your glutes now. We're going to go down one more time and do exactly the same. So sinking down, knees forward, hips back, hinge at the hips. Breathing out and in. Out and in. Keep your toe muscles coming on. Out and in. And one last one. Out and in. Pressing through your legs to come back up to standing and walk through your legs here. Give them a little bit of a rest. Well done. We've got one more exercise to go before we are at half time. We're going to do a bow and arrow standing. We're going to slightly change our foot patterning, which is going to give us a little bit more movement here. So standing with your feet hip distance apart once again. You're going to step forward with your left leg and let your weight shift so that it's somewhere between your 2 feet. So your weight isn't all on the back, it isn't all on the front, nicely balanced. Going to float our arms up. We're going to keep our hips facing forward at all times. So your hands start up level with your shoulders. We're going to breathe in. As you breathe out, let's start to draw that elbow back. Rotate through your waist. Take your arm back and open that arm out. And as you inhale, return, and we're going to go on the other side. So breathing out. Make sure you're not leaning back. You're purely rotating. Inhale to come back. So let's go again. Hip remains forward. You're rotating through your spine. So feel like you're opening that shoulder towards the back. Make sure you're not leaning back. You're keeping your body upright and centered. And again, feeling that gorgeous twist through your spine. Maybe feeling that connection of your shoulder girdle on the back of your rib cage. Bring your hands down. Step that leg back. Let's go on the other side. Leg going forward, and make sure your feet are still hip distance apart. They're not one in front of the other, which is going to make your balance extremely difficult. Center your weight between the 2 legs. Reach your arms forward. Let's breathe in. Breathing out, draw that arm back. Reach your fingers so you're opening your arm. Inhale to come back. Good, let's go again. Elbow coming back, feel that gorgeous twist. Try not to lean back. One more time to each side. Draw your elbow back, open through. We're getting a beautiful rotation through our spine. Also working on the stability of the shoulder by keeping it connected to the back of your spine. Reaching your hands back through, bring them down. Put that leg back. Once again, do a little pony prance, keeping your hips nice and still. And you're halfway through, well done. Okay, so have a little rest. Remember, you can pick this lesson up again at a time to suit you. And we're going to come down onto the mat for our second part. Okay, so going to start in 4-point kneeling. So set yourself up with your knees directly beneath your hips and your wrists directly beneath your shoulders. Make sure that the centers of your elbows are facing towards each other. Now, I know some of you prefer to use your fists, but again, try not to let the centers of your elbows face forward. Try and get them pointing towards each other, okay? So you're trying to get stability. If this isn't comfortable, grab a cushion and you can place the back heels of your hands on the cushion with your fingers forward, just to give yourself a bit more cushioning there and protect your wrists. Okay, so we've got that lovely 4-point kneeling position. We're going to tuck our toes under this time. Okay, so we're going to just start to hinge backwards and come forwards. So you've got our neutral spine and pelvis. We're just keeping our spine parallel with the floor, rocking forwards and backwards. I got that the wrong way around. Backwards, toes come in. Don't let your bottom tuck under. Keep it pressing out. Coming forwards, lovely. And again, coming back. And forward, last one. Sending your bottom back. And forward, lovely. Lengthen your feet back along the mat. We're going to take this into a lovely cat to mobilize our spine. So we're going to breathe in. And then as you breathe out, tuck your bottom underneath you. And one breath at a time, let that ripple come all the way up through. Pressing the mat away so you've got a lovely flexion through your spine. Inhale to return through to neutral. We're going to go again a few more times. Remember that the amount of flexion that you get is really personal to you. If you have really deep curves in your spine, you might get a lot more. If you're flat backed, you might get less movement, less visible movement. Extending again, good, and 2 more, rolling all the way through. Extending back, and this is our last one, rolling all the way. Coming back through, and now we're just going to rock forwards and backwards again. Just feel how it feels different when you have your tops of your feet on the floor. With your bottom, with your toes back, up, I've lost it. With your toes up, you might not be able to get back so far. With the tops of your feet down, you might be able to get further. We're just going to do a few more rocking backwards. So this time we're getting extension and flexion both at the wrist and at the knee. Really nice just to help you tune into your body and find out if there's any areas of stiffness just by rocking backwards and forwards. Good. Okay, so sit back over your heels just for a second to give your wrists a bit of a rest. Roll them round. Then we're going to work into some shoulder stability. So coming back, hands, fingers pointing forward, centers of elbows facing each other. We're going to go into our nice little shoulder stability exercise where you're going to let your shoulders come together behind the line of your spine and press away. So you're keeping your core muscles working. Pressing away again. Good. We're going to go 3 more like this. And 2 more. And 1 more. So your shoulders are meeting behind your spine and then you're pressing away. Really nice and strong. So center yourself here, and then we're going to try and pick up our limbs one at a time whilst keeping our torso really, really still. So it's easy to kind of start rolling around like this. You can see I'm getting lots of shifting through my body, but this time we're going to try and lift them up one at a time. So we're going to start with our left arm. We're just going to lightly lift it up and lower it down. You might feel that your core muscles react. So as you lift one leg arm up and turn it into 3-point kneeling, your toe muscles should react accordingly. We're going to go on our leg now, lifting one leg, lower down. Lifting basically just an inch or so. Going again, lifting and down, lifting and down. And definitely when you feel your legs, you might be able to just get that real deep core connection. So it's a really subtle movement, but it's going to be great for the stability of your torso. Also, those little micro movements really help to get your mind-body connection really strong. Lifting and lifting, good. And again. So you're just basically hovering your hands and your knees by a couple of centimeters. Lovely. Okay, so now just for fun, we're going to try opposite arm and leg. So lifting up, feel those toe muscles coming in to support you, lower it down. Going on the other side, lower it down. We're just breathing normally, so breathe whatever way you need to feel like you're stable and still breathing. Good. Okay, we're going to sit back once again. Give your wrists a little bit of a rest before we go into a really nice hip mobility exercise. We're going to do a kind of leg sweep thing. So showing you what we're going to do. We have a tabletop 4-point position to start with. As you breathe in, we're going to slide one leg away. Keep that imaginary tray of drinks on the back of your pelvis. And as you exhale, we're going to try and draw a circle around you with your leg, keeping your back of your pelvis level with the floor. Bring that leg back, draw back in. So we're inhaling, exhaling to circle, inhale to return, come back through. Inhale to stretch, exhale to circle, bring that leg back, and in. Good. Getting those core muscles working all the time. Really strengthening for that hip. If you wanted to make this even more challenging and you had a pair of ankle weights, you can connect them to your ankles and see what difference it makes. So straightening through that leg, keep your pelvis stable. And again, slide, move, back, and in. Good, going again. Slide, move, and in. We're going to go one last time on each side. Just be aware that when you start doing this a little bit more, you might start shifting through your torso. We're trying to minimize that shift by using all of those deep core stabilizing muscles that we've already activated today. Sliding and through. And our last one, you might get cramp here. Slide that leg, rotate, and through. And sit back into your rest position if you can. Place your head on your hands or down on the floor and extend your arms away from you. And then walk your fingers away from you so you're getting a gorgeous full back stretch and shoulder extension. Breathe into your ribcage here. Good. One last time, breathing in and breathing out. And pressing yourself all the way up through to 4-point kneeling, and then walking your knees back and placing yourself down. And resting your head on the back of your hands, elbows nice and wide. We're going to bring our toes together and then rotate your legs so that they are internally rotated. So your knees should be in and the outside edges of your thighs should be out. So you've internally rotated your legs. We're going to go into something called an inner thigh squeeze. So basically this is dart legs. Breathing in to prepare. As you breathe out, rotate your legs so your heels come together. Straightening your legs away and squeeze your inner thighs. And inhale to come back down. Breathing out, straighten those, squeeze your inner thighs. Come back through. Be very careful not to let your shoulders come around your ears. Squeeze your inner thighs, rotate out. Lovely, we're going to do 3 more. So we're just activating the inner thigh muscles, getting the pelvic floor working as well, and getting our hips working really nicely. And coming back through, well done. Okay, so now we're going to combine that with our dart arms. So take your arms long down by your sides, forehead down. Let your shoulders roll forward so the hands are up towards the ceiling. And as we breathe out this time, we're going to do the same with our legs as we turn our hands and our arms in our shoulder girdle, lifting up and squeezing our hands in towards the sides of our body. Inhale to come down. Let's go again. Breathing in and breathing out to lift and squeeze. Inhale to come down. Really nice and strong. Fantastic for your posture. Squeezing. Oh, I found that one really hard. And come down. So we're activating all of the spinal extensors, really helping our posture, trying to get that lovely movement through our spine. So think about drawing your chest forward and up from the floor, lengthening through your toes. And again. Squeezing and down. And our last one here. Squeezing up and coming down. Take a few breaths rest here. You can rest your cheek on the floor. Hopefully you can still hear me. And this next time we're going to go into a lift, and then we're going to go into a side to side. So just like we did in our side reach, we're getting length through the sides of our rib cage. So we're going to breathe in, breathe out to come up. Then as you inhale, turn to the side so that your fingers are traveling towards your heel. Back to center, to the other side, back through to center, and lower down. So it's like you're doing a side reach whilst you're in dart. So let's breathe in again. Breathing up to squeeze all the way up. Reaching through your fingers, back to center. Reaching back to center, and come down. Good. So really feeling those muscles, spinal extensors that run all the way up, connecting each vertebrae, working here. Let's go again. Breathing in, breathing out to come up. Twist and twist. Supporting yourself through your core as well. Coming down, and we've got one last one to go. Breathing in, breathing out. Squeeze all the way up as you come to the side. To the other side, back to center, and down here. Well done. Okay, so let's adjust our legs. So take them to hip distance apart, then rotate them so that your toes and your knees are pointing out. So externally rotated now. Take your hands up and get ready for our cobra so that they are wider than the mat. Forehead down, shoulders released, and down. Now breathe in here. Breathing out, start pressing your nose away. Lifting all the way up either into a cobra prep with your elbows still down, or you can extend your hands, breastbone going forward, shoulders melting down, and lengthening back down one bone at a time, really nice and slowly coming down onto the floor. Going again, breathing in, breathing out. Lifting all the way up, pressing through your hands, let your shoulders melt down. It's really easy to collapse and let your shoulders come around your ears. You're going to press your shoulders away, lengthen back down once again. After this next two, we're going to make it a lot more interesting. Go again, pressing away, lifting all the way up. And coming down one bone at a time. Your nose under, and our last one here. All the way up. And lengthening back down. Okay, so now we're going to add in something called a press up, half press up. So we're going to breathe out, coming all the way up. Extending through your hands. If you want to stick with that half cobra, you can. If not, we're going to try and drop our elbows down. Feeling how your spine returns one bone at a time. Pressing through, getting a little bit more extension. Coming down, feel your arms working, keep your shoulders away from your ears. Pressing all the way up. Nice and slow, we've got one more after this. Good, and then we're going to come down again. So if you get confused with your breathing, don't worry. Just try to breathe rhythmically and time your breath in and out with your movements. Let's go again. Breathing in and out to come all the way up one bone at a time, lengthening through your arms. Inhale. Exhale to press. It's really strong on your arms, really great for that extension. You might feel your triceps, especially around here, switching on, so your triceps and your biceps are working. And coming down. Lovely. We've got one last one of this. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling it already through my arms. So if you want to just sit this one out, that's fine. Breathing in and out. Remember, you're connecting through your core at all times. So you're not just kind of collapsing down. Keeping your toe muscles engaged. And really controlling this movement down. So it's about a lot more than just bending your elbows. You're also getting that spinal and core control. Good. Last one. Coming up, keep your shoulders down and lengthen back down one bone at a time. And then we're going to press through into our rest position. So bring your feet together. Keep your knees nice and wide and open. That's going to get a little bit more flexion through your hips. Pressing forward. Reaching your hands forward if you can, if your shoulders allow. Otherwise, just having them down. Good. Pressing back through. We're going to come to lying on our back. So you can either try and do something fancy or you can just roll around. If you want to do the fancy version, bring your knees forward, cross your heels over and sit back. You'll find yourself on your bottom. And we're going to come down into our relaxation position. So have your cushion ready. And lengthen down onto the floor, setting yourself up so that your knees and feet are hip distance apart. Your arms are nice and wide here. We're going to go into a pelvic clock just to get a bit more movement through our pelvis. So I'd like you to imagine that your hips are 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and your pubic bone is 6 o'clock. This is taking so much concentration, and your two button is 12 o'clock. I'm going to roll around. So you've got a marble at the top and you're going to roll around. So you're just going to start rolling around and let your knees react. So you're rolling around the back of your sacrum. Good, rolling around. And let's go the other way. So just activating all of those deep core muscles now. Getting a little bit of a massage around the back of your sacrum as well. So hopefully it should feel really nice for you now. And our last one. And come back somewhere halfway in between. Okay, so we did the hundreds last week. We're going to try and do that again. So I'm going to give you some options. So you can either have your feet flat on the floor, knees up to the ceiling, come into a curl up, extend your arms to a mid-thigh level. And when you pulse, you're pulsing from your shoulders. So you're going for 5 breaths and out for 5 breaths. So this is position number 1. Position number 2, you can float your legs into a double knee fold. Engaging your core, come into that curl up, doing the same here. Remember, you can place your legs down and your head down at any time. So you can always have your head on the mat if you need it. Position 3, we're going to connect our inner thighs, keep our heels together and turn our legs so our toes are out. And do from here. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through it. Find your position. Remember, if you start to get any stiffness or straining through your neck, place your head back down on the floor at any time and give it a little bit of a rest. So choose your position. I'm going to go into my double knee fold today. You can connect your heels, keep your knees apart. Come into your curl up. I'm going to breathe in and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5 and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5 and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5 and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5 and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5 and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5 and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5 and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5 and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5 and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rest your arms, bring your knees back in, return your head to the floor. Hug your knees in and give yourself a rock from side to side. Well done. Hopefully felt a little bit more accessible than last week. Just remember, if you need to rest your head down, you can. If you had your legs out stretched, try not to arch through your spine, so you're always keeping that deep core engagement here. So resting here, well done. Okay, so you're going to place our feet back down on the floor, one at a time. Find your neutral spine and pelvis once again. Lengthen your arms down by your sides. We're going to go into something called coordination. So again, I'm going to give you some options for this. You can either stick with a single toe tap. So we're starting in our double knee fold. So floating one leg up, floating the other leg up, making sure you haven't rocked back through your pelvis. You've still got this really gorgeous connection here. You can breathe out, hinge from the hip to tap your toe down and return. So really controlling through your core, tapping and returning. Tapping and returning. So that is option 1. Option 2, we are going to go into a leg stretch. So we're straightening and returning. So inhaling to straighten, exhale to return. So that's option 2. Option 3, we're going to add in some arms. We're going to float our arms up so their fingers are pointing towards the ceiling, heels are together. As we straighten, we send our arms back, come back through. Inhale to take our arms back, exhale to return. Really feeling this connection around your core. And we have 2 more like this. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to return. Feel that core connection. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your knees in. Give yourself a rock from side to side. Well done. Let's have a quick drink here. Okay, so we're going to settle ourselves back down once more. And I'm going to turn this into a single leg stretch. So now we're doing the lying down version of the single leg stretch, which we did standing up before. So neutral spine and pelvis. Float your legs in one at a time. Heels together, knees apart. Place your hands either side of your knees. Remember, you can stay with your head on the floor, or you can curl up, gaze going between your knees. Breathing in here, maintain this really strong core. Exhale to straighten one leg away and use your hands to draw that knee in. Keep your elbows wide. Inhale to swap. Exhale to lengthen. Inhale and exhale. So lengthening that leg away from you. So try to straighten that leg and move from the hip as well. So you're getting that hip movement. It's not just about straightening that knee. You're really moving through your hips. Keep your gaze going forward. Point your toes if that helps you get a bit more length. Keep your elbows wide. Breathing out and in. Out and in. Out and in. Bring your knees in. Place your head down. Give yourself a rock from side to side. Turn your head from side to side as well. Get rid of any tension that you're holding through there. Place your feet down one at a time. And find that neutral spine and pelvis once again. Arms long by your side, shoulders relaxed. Lots of space between your toes. And we're going to drive into our feet to bring ourselves up into a spine curl, but we're going to go sequentially. So we're going to do a half spine curl and then come down. So we're doing this because it's really easy to suddenly lift your spine up in one go, where we really want the sequential movement, so one bone at a time. So breaking it down like this sometimes helps us get that movement a little bit more into our bodies. So we're going to keep our arms down, breathing in here, breathing out. We're going to start rocking back through our spine, engage your glutes. Start lifting it one bone at a time. Pause halfway and then melt back down. So really try and get every single vertebrae coming down one at a time. Let's go again. Rolling all the way up, one at a time. Lengthen back down. Back through. Good. Going again. Nice and smoothly. And then we're going to do one more like this. So I'd like you to start thinking about how your knees move. And you might find that they're moving away from you. So this next time when we come into the spine curl, as well as thinking about lifting it one bone at a time, I'd like you to think about your knees traveling away from you, giving you a lot more length through your body. So we're going to breathe in, breathing out, rolling all the way up. Knees move away from you as you lift your spine up one bone at a time, pressing through both of your feet evenly. Hips nice and high, holding here. And then melting back down again, one bone at a time, all the way onto the mat. Let's go again. Rolling all the way back, glute muscles switching on. All the way up, hips nice and high, holding here. Melting back down. Good. Two more. Hips go nice and high. And our last one. Knees going away from you. So think about that little lift here. And we're going to come down. Okay, so our next ones, we're going to add in a single knee fold. So we're going to breathe in and breathe out, rolling all the way up. Keep your hips nice and high. Inhale to float one knee up. Exhale to bring it down. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Inhale, bring the other knee in. Keep your hips high. And melt back down one more time. Well done. Okay, let's go again. Breathing in, breathing out, rolling all the way up. Hips go nice and high. Bring your knee in and down. Knee in and down. Lengthening down. Okay, we're going to do one more time. We're going to slow it down. So we're going to breathe in and breathe out. Rolling all the way up. Use your glutes nice and high, pressing through that supporting foot. Keep your knee in, pause. Lower down and pause here, breathing in and out. On the next breath in, float that knee in, pause here. Keep your hips high. Take that foot down. Lengthen all the way back down onto the floor, one bone at a time. Bring your knees and feet together and take your arms wider, breathing in and out. Take your knees over, keep the opposite shoulder down. Rotating back through to center and over to the other side. Good. So just getting that gorgeous twist through our waist. Knees are together. Last one. Back through to center, and then we're just going to give ourselves a nice stretch by bringing our knee in, extending the opposite leg away and pulling that knee in towards you. Drawing, not pulling. Pulling's a bit too strong, so we're just going to draw that knee in. Swapping our legs over, extend the other leg, bring the other knee in. Let your shoulders release and relax here. Breathing in and out. Extend that leg, and just finally we're going to come up to sitting, so you can either roll up or roll over onto your side and come up to sitting. If you want to roll up, take your hands behind your head, extend your legs away from you, point your toes up towards the ceiling, breathing in, breathing out, nod your chin, imprint your spine one bone at a time, rolling all the way up and forwards, and then coming to sit in a position that suits you best. Sitting nice and tall, breathing in, breathing out. Let's take one arm up and over. Restack. Up and over to the other side. Last one to each side, really reaching through that top arm. And again. All the way up and over, back through to center, breathing in. And out to reach all the way up. And press the air away. And our final one, all the way up, press the air away, and give yourself a clap. Well done. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this flowy moving class. I'm going to be back on Thursday, and I'm going to be back next week. So let me know how you get on. Remember, you feel free to ask any questions that you want to. Have a great week and see you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.